I shouldn't have been able to buy this blaster. And if you want to know why I have it, thank the Nerf Action Experience and somebody from the Nerf community. Now first, let's get our thanks out of the way. So Richie, that Nerf guy here on YouTube, the Nerf guy on TikTok, he was able to find some of these blasters in just a random Ollie's in a box without any sort of packaging. They were just literally random Nerf blasters with a price tag on them, amongst all of the other merchandise at an Ollie's store. Now, if you're not familiar with what an Ollie's is, it's like a discount closeout store. So all the stuff that they don't sell at Targets, Walmarts, all that kind of stuff, Ollie's will buy it up, they'll put it on their shelves until it just sells out, usually at a really good discount. And the funny thing is like Ollie's stuff is packaged, brand new, sealed, and these blasters weren't. It almost looked more like a Goodwill or a thrift store situation with Nerf blasters than an actual retail store. And at first, people didn't really understand what this blaster was. Was it a prototype of the Nerf N-Series Agility? Was it something different? Was it an unreleased product that somehow got loose into the wild? Those things happen from time to time. But no, it was identified that this is a blaster from the Nerf Action Experience. Not familiar with the Nerf Action Experience? Well, I wouldn't blame you, because none of them exist in the United States yet. The quickest way to sum up what the Nerf Action Experience is just think of like a Nerf battle location that you normally see in malls. One I've been to personally is the Tactical Urban Combat in the Mall of America, and there are a few others around that specifically use a big giant space to play some Nerf battles. Hasbro and Nerf thought, hey, maybe we should get in on that because, well, we own Nerf, and it probably makes sense if we did something similar to that because they seem like a popular party destination. So enter the Nerf Action Experience. They are often large, tens of thousands of square feet facilities that are just dedicated to everything Nerf. And the reason we know that is because there are two that exist, one in England and one in Singapore. There are multiple YouTube videos, articles, and things like that floating around the internet about what exactly those experiences are like, but just think of it as a lot of target blasting, indoor arena style battles, as well as like other Nerf related things like football, soccers, baseballs. Yeah, I mean, Nerf is just more than blasters, right? Now, inevitably, these were coming to America. There are two that are slated to release, one in New Jersey, not the American Dream Mall, I guess a mall somewhere else in New Jersey, and then in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. Both of those were announced years ago, and it sounds like some development has happened on them, but they are not complete. In fact, I think the Pigeon Forge one in particular did like a retraction of a press release and then said that they were going to be in the same unit or building as the Crayola Color World experience or something like that, and kind of share the space to reduce its own footprint. Not really good signs, if you ask me. Even before you can get people in the door, you're already starting to downsize the environment, which means one or two things, at least to me. One, the company Hasbro has determined that it's not really a strategic move for them to be in the event space category. The second one is just that there is declining popularity in blasters, maybe the Nerf name, and they've realized that in pulling back some of their already existing plans. I don't think the second one's more the case. It's a possibility, of course, but the first one is probably more likely that it's just a strategic shift in direction from where other people at Nerf or other leadership that have departed no longer have that person pushing that path forward. Now that you know more or less what the Action Experience is, you would also be right to guess that there were blasters there, and one of the blasters was this guy right here. There is no official name for this blaster. In fact, if you look back at the Ollie's photo that Richie, that Nerf guy here on YouTube, took for me, you'll say it just says blue sidearm or something very generic. These were supposed to be built and distributed to these facilities so that it really wasn't a big deal that it got named. It was just a blaster that hung out at the Nerf Action Experience. So the Nerf community just kind of dubs this the Nerf AX blaster. There is really no other official name to it. But the curious part of me, knowing that this said blue sidearm from the original box that this was shoved in at Ollie's, there might be a red one out there too. I don't want to fuel speculation, but red versus blue is a classic team-based designation. But anyway, I digress. This is what the Nerf AX blaster looks like up close. It is strikingly similar to a few Nerf blasters that we've already seen, one being the Nerf N-Series Agility. This blaster right here, in fact, when I first saw pictures of this pop up online, I thought it was a prototype of this. But no, this is its own thing. The other thing is it feels like there are some cues taken from Dart Tag as well as Rebel, because we have some more curvy lines to the shell of the blaster. And if we look at the front of it, it's just an open barrel where you can keep shoving darts in at the top. It is an 8-cylinder barrel, which is a phenomenal amount of capacity. And it is really easy to prime because it has this little strap on the back, just like the N-Series Agility, that it makes priming this thing quite easy. Now, of course, what you want to see is this blaster working. And I was so curious when I got this too. That was the first thing I did, is I loaded it up with darts and I got to firing this thing. So I've already had some time with it. Just know that half-length darts, I accidentally grabbed that one. It's not going to work here. It has dart posts. Right out of the box, you just got to know that this is for elite darts only, which is something that we're going to have to touch on later, because I think this is why these showed up at Ollie's. Anyway, we'll pull this back. Hopefully I've got this going the right direction. I do. We're going to fire off some darts. There we go. Gonna try to get these in my net. There it is. Now, the one thing about these is the darts that I'm using are all very different. Oh, there we go. Last one. They're all very different darts, different states of being fresh or way used. So what I've noticed right off the bat is this is your typical Nerf Elite style performance. What we're doing though is we're getting the full Nerf Elite style performance. There's no barrel, there's no extra stuff that's gonna get in the way, which for a blaster that was designed to be picked up and put down hundreds, if not thousands of times a day, was a brilliant move by Nerf. You want to have these be the most common sense, easiest to use blasters that they have designed, and I think this accomplishes that, because when you think about it, when you go to these places, these experiences, pop-ups, or dedicated store areas, not only is somebody who's totally invested with Nerf, has a YouTube channel, a TikTok following, and all that kind of stuff, going to go to these places, it's going to be people who are younger, people who are older, people who have never picked up a Nerf blaster, and to make it as understandable as possible right off the jump is going to be key. So front-loaded darts, this big giant pull handle is going to not only make it easy to prime, I mean, you can still prime it with the handle up here, just like we've been doing with Disruptors, Strong Arms, Mavericks for decades now. You have this as an assist, so if somebody doesn't have the manual dexterity, strength required to prime this back, it was an option for them to be a more accessible blaster, which is a great thing. So design-wise, this is phenomenal. This is fantastic. I would love to see more blasters take on this shape, and I'm so glad that the Nerf Agility is similar in that regard. So I can't imagine anybody picking up one of these and not enjoying it. It is easy to use blaster, has decent performance, or at least performance that we've been used to for a very long time. And it's just a joy to use. The thing that you're not going to know about this blaster looking at it or seeing me fire it on the screen here is how sturdy it is. It is a solidly built blaster. And like I said, something that you're picking up and putting down just hundreds, if not thousands of times a day, you're gonna want something that is not rattling around. You're gonna want something that's going to be able to take a hit or 2 or 3 or 100 and keep on ticking. And I think that's where this blaster really shines, is that it feels heftier, it feels sturdier than anything else similar to this. So like all the Disruptors, all the Strong Arms, the Agilities, the Mavericks that I've held, this one feels the beefiest. I think it really comes down to the plastic quality. This feels good, but when I hold it next to this just feels like it has a little more to it. And there is just a slight bit of rubber on this, right here on the handle. I don't know if this was to assist with gripping the priming of the blaster or what, or if it was used to stop it bumping into other stuff. I thought there would have been more rubber on it. If that were the case, I think it might be just like a priming assist thing. I said there's a lot going on here, but what's not going on here is tactical rails. This is just a smooth blaster where you're not able to put any sort of sight, dart holder, anything like that. If this blaster could have done anything, I would have loved to have seen a tactical rail for a dart holder on it, because you'd just be able to top load darts. And it'd be similar to like what X-Shot does with a lot of their blasters, and have it be really easy to throw in darts at the top. Thinking about it, actually just saying X-Shot out loud, this has a lot in common with the Reflex 6 as well, which is something that I didn't consider until this point, that this is also potentially taking cues from other blasters in the category and recognizing that would do great things for an experience where people may or may not have Nerf experience. So now I've gotten a chance to talk about the Nerf Action Experience. We're talking about the blaster itself. Why did these show up? Why is something designed for a store that was not meant to sell these Nerf blasters? The reason, I think, is because these stores have been in development for so long, and there have been multiple changes to them. One, I believe the England experience has shrunk, and they're redoing it for more focus on sporting activities, if I'm kind of reading the tea leaves a little more. And with the Tennessee location merging with the Crayola experience, things have slowed down. And in that time, things have sped up in terms of the direction Nerf is going, namely this direction, the N-Series direction. The Nerf Agility, which again looks very similar to the Nerf AX blaster, is kind of the de facto leader of the Nerf N series, at least in my opinion. But what's not in dispute is the fact that the Nerf N1 dart is the dart for Nerf going forward, hands down. It seems like that is just written in stone. And this blaster absolutely is not an N-Series blaster, nor will it accept N1 darts. This is pure Nerf Elite Dart experience. When you have a large building with a massive square footage that has Nerf on it, you're gonna wanna display your flagship products. And unfortunately, this blaster is not gonna be it anymore. It's gonna be probably something more akin to the Nerf Agility. So that is my guess as to why these showed up at Ollie's. They probably got these boxes and thought, what are we gonna do with them? And maybe in mid-transit, or who knows? I honestly don't know what happened to get them to an Ollie's, but they ended up there, and we can really only speculate at this point. But I'm thinking, because this is a Nerf Elite style dart blaster, that is what got these the boot. My overall experience with this blaster, I love it. This is great. And I think part of the reason is because it is a store or an experience exclusive, that you're not going to be able to find these in-store shelves. There's no packaging. There's nothing about it that would scream that this is a brand new blaster, even though it absolutely is. It's one of those if you know kind of situations, and as a collector at heart, that makes it really exciting to have one of these in my collection. So again, thank you to Richie, that Nerf guy, to being able to get one of these and sending it over my way. I really appreciate it, so that this is going to be a really great piece in my collection. And if you have the chance to experience one of these blasters, play with one of these blasters, you can really feel the difference in terms of build quality, as well as just doing some different things that I don't feel Nerf has really tackled in a while, at least. And I think a lot of that has to do with just the pure front loading of the barrel, the ease of use in general. But you gotta let me know, have you been able to find one of these blasters at Ollie's? From what I can understand, not all Ollie's have gotten these, and I don't know if they will, because the experiences, these stores, these Nerf Action Experiences are limited places, and they're not going to be making that many blasters, or at least I wouldn't think they would be making that many blasters for these. But I could be wrong. So if you found one of these and if you used it, let me know in the comment section. I'm really curious to hear your thoughts, but overall, I'm very positive on this one. So thanks for coming with me on this journey of not only discovering what's up with the Nerf Action Experience, but why this blaster might have appeared on store shelves and if it's any good or not. So to sum it up quickly, I suppose this is a good blaster. There is some question mark as to when these Nerf Action Experience locations will open, if maybe at all. The reason these probably showed up at Ollie's is because these are using Nerf Elite darts, not Nerf N1 darts, which are the new dart now. If you've gotten to this point in the video, I know you love blasters, action figures, pop culture, collectibles, anything action related. The Ri-Fi channel has you covered, and I would love to have you hit that subscribe button to stay tuned for more videos like this that not only talk about history of blasters, modern history of blasters, but also the fun toys and if they are any good or not. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.